Hey, Explain Everything listeners, it's giveaway time. We're giving away $201, and all it costs you is a $3 subscription to patreon.com/explaineverything. $3 could win you $201, bro. That's 67 times return on your investment. I learned that from Tyler's YouTube math channel. Now get over there and subscribe. We're picking one lucky Patreon subscriber to win $201 on patreon.com/explaineverything. Looks like you made it.
It does look like we made it.
Looks like, well, we've already made it.
I mean,
We've definitely made it.
Dude, this is a main episode or Patreon?
This main episode.
Everybody. This is one for everybody. One for the kids.
One for
one for us, one for them.
Yep.
This is for them.
Yeah.
And the Patreon's for us.
And you're them.
Because you're giving us money
They're
to
them.
give you
Yeah.
money.
Yeah, Patreon is that's legit, and we really do want you to go there because I was talking with somebody yesterday, and they have been listening actively. They've listened to all of the episodes, and they have not. And he's like, "Oh my gosh, there's so many more because you guys
Twice as many.
Yeah, it's just twice as many.
Patreon.com/explaineverything. You know what? If you go and subscribe today, we'll give you a free tire rotation.
Really?
Yeah, it comes with a purchase.
Will it help with my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis?
Oh, it's going to give you Pepto-Bismol. What does that mean? What does that even mean?
I don't even.
What was I saying?
What does that mean?
What are we talking about today? We're talking about writing a book. You want to write a book?
I do.
You do. You'd be great. Remember, you used to have books on your shelf and you were like, oh, I'm cool. So you had like paper over them so they were all blank.
I didn't do that.
And I wrote your name.
Yeah, you did.
In a book you wrote. What did I write?
You know, you wrote something about, you said, I forget what the title was.
That's what I was wanting to know.
But then you put my name on it. But what's sad is the book that was underneath it, the paper that was underneath it was by a guy who's not doing great right now.
Really?
Yeah. So I burned all of them.
To John Maxwell? Oh, man. Is he in trouble for filming his Instagram videos too close to his face? Hey, John Maxwell, you're not the face from Nick Jr. Pull the camera away from your head.
Marva and I are starting to get a little bit of chafing up underneath our chin where the tanning bulbs are too close.
Well, there's 5 levels of tanning bulbs. John Maxwell, author. Look at us.
Look at us. Hey, we did.
Staying on brand.
Yeah.
We're talking about writing a book. We're going to talk through the process of writing a book, what it's like.
Yeah, we are.
If you wanted to write a book, if you want to be published, not published, etc.
Has anybody that we know that is also good at music ever written a book?
Somebody like Joseph Tilley?
Okay.
Wow. Now you're messing up the No, Joseph hasn't written a book.
It's so good to know.
But his songs are like books of love.
Oh.
Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the Tyler and Neil Explain Everything podcast. Now officially your 4th favorite podcast. Hit the subscribe button and make sure you go to patreon.com/explaineverything to get exclusive episodes. Looks like we made it.
It does look like we've made it now. Gosh. When you have Joseph Tilley on your
How can you not?
How can you not
How
do
can
it?
you help?
How can you not do it, Neil?
How can you?
How can you not watch Godfather 2? You skip 1 to 3, or you skip the second one?
Yeah.
Is it not good to you? Do you not like?
Why would you do that?
Why do you not like my accents? Remember, we did an episode recently
Very recently.
on the Patreon where we went through like 8 different accents. And I'll tell you this, Neil, you may be better than me.
See.
You better than me?
See, why do you not think I'm better than you?
Wow, that was pretty good.
I am doctor. I cut now.
I'm Dr. Strange.
Oh.
The one that talks like this, not the one you know. I'm a different one.
I am the one, the only one.
I am the one. That's not good. All right, so let's talk about
We
publishing
lost
a book. So, so here's the deal.
What's
Neil,
wrong with
how many books have you written?
Have I written?
How many have you written so far?
0.
You lying.
No, I haven't written any
Why
books.
haven't you written a book? Like legit. Like you're the kind of dude, like you're Enneagram 3. You're I almost said freaking.
I think about
you're
it.
smart. Like why don't you?
Go on. I think about it, but then I fall into this trap of no one's going to read it.
Yeah. That's
Which is
exactly
what every-
That's my brand. I write crap nobody reads. I've done it my entire life. I make videos. I just make stuff to make it. It's not about the process of helping somebody. It's about making it.
Okay, but so if that's my hang up, then what is your encouragement or your response to that? Because I know that you have to. It's not that you're just nobody's gonna listen to Read My Book. But what was that? But it's like, no, you write it for the people that will, not the people that won't.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like you serious, like when you think like, oh, I have something to tell or some advice or something to give, like you want to, it can help somebody. There's a demographic for whatever it is you have to say. It's like, well, other people said it. Yeah. In their voice, from their experience. Like, there people are, I mean, I'm assuming because that's how words work. They're hearing this because they're listening to our podcast.
Yes.
There are tons of podcasts. There's podcasts that rate higher, very few.
Not in Germany.
Not in Germany. We're doing great in Germany. But there's like other podcasts out there. It's like, why do they listen to us when they can listen to somebody else? It's like different people connect with other people. Like, it's the whole concept of having friends. Think of your friends. You connect with them. It doesn't mean I'm most similar, like always. It's like, no, we're friends because of, we're around them or they have a perspective or whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's like somebody can benefit from you. And I think the problem a lot of people fall into, like the last book I wrote, when I was looking at it, I was like, oh, I could make, I was almost like going to be more generic. Like, oh, this will meet a larger crowd. Then I thought, no. What do I bring to the conversation? Pop culture references and, leaning hard into being a millennial and like all that stuff and like connecting the two generations that we have. Like a lot of teachers are, baby boomers, Gen X, and then they're teaching Gen Z. And it's like, how can I connect those as a millennial or like my experience with the internet and all that? So it's like, bring your own perspective and your talents to South Beach, if you will. Like, like use your perspective and it's going to meet the needs of a specific audience versus a large and generic.
Yeah, it's not
audience.
Everybody.
You're not John Maxwell. Right. You can't just be like, oh,
there can't be that many irrefutable laws.
Exactly. He just literally says the same thing.
He is.
I've read several of his books, and it's the same.
It's the exact same book.
Yeah,
it's another Ronald Reagan reference. They're in every one of his. He'll talk about Margaret Thatcher and Ronald Reagan in every one of them.
So good.
So Tyler, you have not just You've not written one book.
No.
You've not written 2 books. You've not written 3 books.
Oh, wow. Okay. I'm genuinely excited. You know how many books I've written. Like, that means a lot to me.
How many books?
I've written 4 books.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think, tell everybody what books you've written. Cause I think they probably know if they follow you or if they're fans of the show, they know about the most recent book. Tell them how you got there. Tell them all this. Tell them what the books are.
I feel like I'm like being interviewed. This is so I don't
know. I don't know what the process is.
You're trying to interview me?
I don't know what the process is.
Okay. So I just to give you context. So I have written 4 books. I wrote the first one when I was 25. It's called Words and Sentences. And the reason I titled it is because when people are like, what's in it? What's it about? I'm like, it's got words and sentences in it. I thought it'd be funny.
That's a great tagline.
Literally titled
You wrote a book because you thought it'd be funny?
Yeah, that's exactly
why
I did it.
Gosh. Okay.
Well, so I used to write a blog. Remember when blogs were a thing?
I do.
I wrote a blog, 5 days a week. And what I did was a compilation of all of those like short, I call it like a toilet book. Like you sat on the back of the toilet. This is before I knew phones were going to literally be everything we did while sitting on the toilet.
Yeah.
But you put it by the toilet and you could pull it out and read, 1 page or 3 pages or whatever, flip through it. I've got like short jokes in it. I've got little short stories. I've got explanations. I got, top 5. It's just it's like a bunch of blog posts.
Okay.
Put together into a few 100-page book. And so did that when I was like 24, 25. And then it's a lot you can do in your prep period when you know what you're going to be teaching. You know what I mean? After that first year, you're like, oh, cool, I can do this.
I got this.
So I did a lot on my prep period. And so did that book. The cover makes your eyes bleed. It was really weird.
I don't think I've seen that one.
It's gross. Then the second book I wrote was called Letters to Famous People.
Uh-huh.
And I low key really like Letters to Famous People.
I like it.
It's a little over the top, but that's my brand. And so what I did was I essentially pretended to be a fan, like obsessive fan of different, celebrities, notable figures, all that stuff. And I wrote like 88 letters and put it in a book, Letters to Famous People. And then the third one.
How many letters?
88, I believe.
That's my favorite number.
I know, it is your favorite number.
Keep going.
And then that's how fast you got to go to travel through time. And
some serious stuff.
And then the third book I wrote was Superheroes Need Sleep Too. It's a children's book.
Yeah.
And so, whatever, read it to your kid before
And
you go
who
to bed.
illustrated it?
Olivia Bruce, one of my students. She was a 10th grader. Amazing artist.
See, that's what's so cool about this. It's not like you're just like, I'm going to do all this all myself or whatever.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I mean, I would, but I'm a terrible artist, Neil. It wasn't strategic to be a nice person. I'm just not talented. No, but Olivia, she's a 10th grader that I had in class, in math class, and she was an amazing artist. So I paid her to illustrate it and wrote that. And then it's like I wrote 3 books while I was a classroom teacher, like in the 5 years I was a classroom teacher, I wrote 3 books. And then as soon as I became an administrator, I had no time. Like you have no free time.
Yeah,
you have planned, I say free time, prep time, whatever. You have that planned in your day, like 30 to 45 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week.
There's no way.
Meetings. When you become an administrator, there's always more to do.
Yeah.
And so
You moved up the ladder.
yeah, yeesh. And so then I finally read Atomic Habits, which if you're going to write a book, I recommend you read Atomic Habits by James Clear before you write it. I've been talking about writing the Baller Teacher Playbook. It's a book to help teachers build the culture they want in their classroom. I had talked about it for 3 or 4 years. I had been doing the presentation. I do a keynote called How to Be a Baller Teacher, and I wanted to adapt it into a book. And I would like record chunks of it, but never be consistent. And it's all about consistency. And I just, for like 3 months there, I would show up to work an hour early, work for 45 minutes on my book before I started work. And
so that whole I've
chip
heard
away
from
at
a
it.
lot of writers that you have to, like, even Jerry Seinfeld writes every day. He
Yeah.
doesn't take a day off. He sits down. People think of him as a comedian. He's actually a writer first and then a comedian.
Mm-hmm.
They write religiously every day.
Yep.
They sit down to at least go through. You definitely that's what the
Oh,
whole
you have to
Atomic Habits.
putting it in your calendar, either,
Yeah.
whatever. If you have a prep period, do it then. If if you work and you can't do it during work, do it before or after or at night before you go to bed. You literally pick, 20 minutes to an hour. You schedule it in and say, this, I will put my phone away. I will do nothing except for work towards it. And that's the thing. Sometimes I wasn't writing. I was reading and editing. I was,
Researching,
doing outline of something. I was, like whatever it was I was doing, and I was moving something forward. It's just about pushing the ball a little bit forward every single day.
Do you start off with the outline for all the chapters, or do you just start writing?
I did. I started out with a rough outline, and then, it changed over time.
Yeah.
There was a chapter on diversity I wasn't going to do, and I had like Nathan King, by the way, go get all of his books. He writes better and more than anything I do.
Smart.
Nathan King, check him out. He's got another. He texted me the other day. He's got another book. That dude he's a machine. Dude,
He's doing another one?
So talented. Yes. And so we should have had him on for this. That would have been great. But he edited my book. Amazing dude, did a fantastic job. It told me, apparently I do a lot of run-on sentences, Neil. I don't know if you know that. I think it's pretty obvious, but he split it up. He's like, you're kind of exhausting your audience. I go, that's what I want. I want them to be
That's my
drained of
brand.
energy. That's what I do. That's what I do.
Good,
But
good.
anyways, I don't know what I was going with this, but it was, the end.
So a friend of mine actually talked about it. He wants to write a book, and he has started coming up with the chapters just as themes, so that he eventually takes them where he wants to get them. And you definitely recommend that.
Yeah.
All right. Is it expensive?
So no. So let's talk through. There's 2 ways. So you hear the traditional way that people used to have to write books was you get published. So you write something, you find an agent, they shop your manuscript, your whatever, your book around, the idea around to different publishers, and then one of them picks it up. They give you a chunk of money, like here's 10 grand, or here's 13. I think John Acuff one time said he got paid 13 grand for Stuff Christians Like when he wrote that book.
Really?
They give him 13 grand up front or 30 grand up front. I don't know. They give you a chunk up front, and then essentially the book sales, you're paying them back for that. And if you don't sell that much, I'm pretty sure you have to pay a lot of that back.
Wow.
And so that's what a lot of them do. Now what I think a lot of them they'll do is they won't give that upfront money. It's almost like, especially if you're new, like if you're like an established, like John Grisham, he gets paid to write the books.
Yeah.
Then, it makes up to that amount, and then he gets paid royalties afterwards, a percentage of it afterwards. And that's the publishing company. And I actually I was in conversations with a couple of publishing companies before I published this last book.
Okay.
And I want to kind of talk through the idea of publishing versus self-publishing, which is what you're alluding to, which is it's free. You can do it, and you can go publish it yourself today.
Okay.
And we'll talk through both of those.
It sounds a little intimidating to try. I mean, it's a pitch.
Yeah.
Like you're going to, I have this idea. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
And that's what you're-
scripts do the same thing.
Yeah, it's very similar to like, movies, which you've directed a movie, you understand better than I do. So it's like Bike Beyond, check it out on YouTube.
Oh, gosh.
And so you go in and you essentially build an outline. You do just like movies. You'd be like, here are similar movies. Here are similar titles. Like here are books that are similar to what I've done. Here's my play on it. You give your one-liner of what it is
Okay.
going to be, like the subtitle of your book, potential titles. And there was a lady that, found me on social media. And this is before I started TikTok. She just, I guess, found my YouTube or something. And she reached out and was like, hey, I love your voice. And I think we're in the need of a voice for a younger generation coming into the education space. Because,
Yeah.
like Harry Wong, Ron Clark, these guys, they've sold millions of books.
They're not,
but
are they even doing it anymore?
Yeah. I mean, they're
they?
still, I don't know about Harry Wong, but Ron Clark, he actually is a principal. He like started a school. It's really great.
wow.
He's great.
Okay.
I love Ron Clark.
Okay.
But he is like Gen X, like he's not going to shove, he's going to, this is what y'all should do. He's from South Carolina. He's even more Southern than I am,
That's a great
which is saying a lot. But it's, the idea was that she thought I could come in and be that voice. And so I started like doing it and we were going back and forth. And then she took a job somewhere else and handed me off. And you know how it is. When you're not
so
someone's
tricky. Yep.
find,
Yep.
you don't matter as much to them and it kind of fizzled
You get
out.
handed something. Yeah. Yep.
And then I had another, this is all about me, Neil. I had another publisher who's a notable publisher in that space.
Okay.
I reached out and I was like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. Would you be interested? And I got rejected by a ton of publishers for, I think it was Letters to Famous People. I tried to get published, send it out, copy paste it, send it out to like 100 something people.
Really?
I only got like 3 people that even responded to my face. But that's fine. You got to get an agent. And that's what they do. They shop.
That's
a lot
what
of people
yeah.
won't talk unless you get an agent.
They don't want to do it.
No.
Because they know you don't know the game.
Yeah, and they're not going to talk to you about it because it's awkward for a lot of people, and they'd rather deal with somebody who's used to dealing with it.
Yeah.
And I get that. And so, but then again, that's just a piece, somebody taking a chunk of your money out, as you do it, which I'm super rich. That's why I need this. But I talked to another notable publisher in the education space, and they publish a ton of books. And it was a really good conversation. They're very popular, sold, hundreds of thousands of their own book and then other people's. And what they would have done is they're going to take a chunk of your money. And so I'm sitting here thinking, and it's funny because, I know this dude, dude speaks all over the country. I keynoted a conference a few years ago where they were day 1, I was the day 2 keynote. And it's like, whenever I told them my price, they like, can we pay you a little less? And I know it's because they had to pay that dude more. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, cool. I'm your discount, bro. But now I'm paid way more than I used to, but way less than him still. I have seen what some of these dudes get paid. It's insane, bro.
That's what's wild is like, unless you're a massive big name, whatever, you just don't think, I'm like, I don't know how much money you make from writing a book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. You can average it out, based on how many you sell. They say, I think I want to say the last stat I saw, 95% of people who publish a book, either self or, whatever, don't sell over 1,000 copies.
No way.
95% don't sell over 1,000 copies.
Oh my gosh, that's not that many.
No, I mean, you would think it's not, but then you write a book and you're like, oh, this is hard to sell.
Yeah.
Because people are literally having to put money towards something that everybody talks about doing but never does. And that's reading.
Wow.
And so, anyways,
Yeah.
talked to this dude about it. And the first thing he asked me, he's like, hey, I'm excited to talk to you about this. He said, but my first question is, why do you want to? And it hit me right then, because you think in your head, you've made all these people, I want to get published. They're trying to get it published and they won't go forward unless they get published. And I'm sitting here thinking, it's 2021. We don't have to get published to sell stuff. The middleman is slowly deteriorating in the entertainment industry.
The gap between those two.
You can get, I could go make a video. We're doing it right now. We're recording a podcast and putting it out. We don't run it through producers. The Bachelor people aren't like, well, you need to fake this relationship. We have to do, you don't have to run it through anybody else's opinion.
It actually stays more pure. It's actually more yours.
Exactly.
That's why people are coming back around with director's cuts of things. Because this is the movie I actually wanted to make, but executives made. I mean, the entire Justice League
Snyder
movie,
cut, yeah.
The Snyder cut shows you that. So yeah, you're right. You cut
and
off.
it was better, way better than the other.
Yeah,
one.
it was a lot longer,
but it was better.
But it was better.
Yeah, I'll take that all day. I'll watch it over 3 different nights. But
it took me 2 days.
Yeah, me too. But that's the thing. He asked me why do you want to do this? Because at that time I had started kind of building up a TikTok audience. By the way, what's up, TikTok gang?
Hey.
I love TikTok. But they were there and he was essentially the reason, and I thought, well, I would want you and your network of people to also promote it. Because I can promote myself on my own.
Yeah.
But it's I know from my own experience of making a lot of stuff that nobody looked at or read, I need to open at other markets. And to do that, you need someone to vouch for you in that market.
Distribution is everything.
I know. And it's I can create content all day. And that's the thing. I'm content creating. I can make a ton of that, but it's getting people to know that it exists is the hard part for me because I don't like asking.
Dollars, all the extra,
everything,
the faces you can put it in front of,
putting it on book tours, getting it.
My gosh.
And he didn't guarantee that they would talk about it a lot. And he's like, well, they're not used to dealing with people that have their own audience already. And that's what, if you know, I want to publish a book, I want to write a book and I want it to be published. I don't want to self-publish. I want to publish it. What you need to do right now is start building an audience. You need to either get an email list, a blog. If you can do video, you need to create social media accounts where you do video. You need to get an audience, because that is when that first publisher hit me up, I had to list out all of my social media channels, followers, all this stuff, and they wouldn't even talk to me unless I had a certain level, because they know that's a built-in, these people might purchase from you. A percent of them will purchase this. They will not talk to you about publishing unless you have that, unless they just read it and it's just an incredible book. And even then, they might not.
The audience is so well. So Emmanuel Acco, you and I both read it.
Yeah, Emmanuel Acco.
He has an incredible built-in audience already. He's on TV every day.
He doesn't. But he wasn't then. He wasn't when he.
What? Really?
So he started Uncomfortable Conversations with a Black Man. He did not have an audience.
That's why he tried to get on that show.
That
morning, he tried to get his deal on the morning show.
No, that was after. So he published that. It blew up, and then Matthew McConaughey got on. All these people got on, and it it didn't legitimize it, because what he was saying was legitimate, but it in that production world, they need to see Matthew McConaughey. They can't just be like, oh, you're a YouTube person.
Yeah.
He did that there. Then he got on The Bachelor, Beyond the Rose or whatever it's called, and then he got on that morning show.
Yep.
Then it started opening up those. That was his link into that.
Okay, I didn't know that.
But he had to have that YouTube audience first, which he did. He got it, built it up, and got that attention. So that's the thing. I talked to them, and then I was going to go with them, but then they wanted me to change the title, and I liked the title, and I was like, this is kind of I've been speaking about this, and it fits kind of and I'm writing a book where it's talking about there's chapters about being authentic, and now I'm going to be the super duper playbook. I'm I'm going to be authentic to who I am.
I remember that wrestling match.
Yeah, because I called you and asked your advice.
Yeah, so it's the thing that you have going for you is your personality in this. You can, when you're reading it, you can hear your voice.
Yeah, you're going to love it or hate it.
But it's okay. That's fine.
I know, that's what I want. I want people. I don't want anybody to be like, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
I want to be like, I freaking love it.
Yeah.
Or I couldn't get past the first chapter. That's what I want. But anyways, I'm sorry. It's not about me. This is not a pitch for my book. Don't read my book unless you're a teacher. Whatever. And then you should buy 10 of them. I'm kidding. Calm down. But I ended up self-publishing all 4 of those books, which you can do. You can publish them. They're all available on Amazon. You can put them out. They're on Amazon.
Yeah.
So let's talk through. What do you want to talk through next? Self-publishing or the?
Yeah, self-publishing.
Okay,
that's what probably most people have the shot at doing.
Yeah, because you could do that right now. If you're I already have a manuscript and nobody you can literally put it up today on Amazon. Okay. So there was a company called CreateSpace, and CreateSpace, you would go in, you would upload your Microsoft Word file of your document, upload the cover, you pick out the price, and then they calculate the percent they're going to take. They're going to take about 70% of what you sell that for.
Oh, wow.
So if you sell for $10, you're going to get $3 per book.
For real?
Yes. Now you can purchase your own book for probably, $4 or $5 and then sell it on your own. But you're still going to be paying for your book. So it's but the good thing with this is there's no upfront cost. Okay. Now I said that it started with CreateSpace. Don't go to createspace.com. If you do, it's going to say Kindle Direct Publishing. So Amazon, you used to be able to do it through CreateSpace, and then you could submit it to Amazon. Now, Amazon purchased, a few years ago, they purchased CreateSpace, and now changed the name to Kindle Direct Publishing, because Kindle is the Amazon reader.
Yeah.
So they've essentially funneled that under the Kindle brand.
Okay.
They're putting it in that brand. So Prime, that's, I'm going to watch, Amazon Prime, that's video, that's also the 2-day shipping, all that stuff. That's their brand for it. So Amazon did the same thing with books. So it's Kindle Direct Publishing. If you Google it, you can go there and it'll show you and walk you through the process. What I would recommend, if you're going to do that, you're I'm going to start writing today. Go to Kindle first, grab a couple books, figure out what size book you want. The common one is I think 5 by 8.5 or something like that.
Okay.
Maybe that's
size-wise. You're saying physical size.
That physical size of a book you want to print.
Okay.
Then go to Kindle Direct Publishing, go in there, create an account, all that. Then they have different templates, Microsoft Word templates. You can convert them into Google Docs if you're smart. Keep it in Word if you don't want to, if you're 80 or above. And then, yeah, I know. I'm sorry.
Ginger.
That's not a play towards Reddit people.
No,
it's a person we know named Ginger that I, for some reason,
great.
went off
They're
on
great.
about Microsoft Word for context.
Sorry.
We didn't want you to think we're talking about Reddit
No,
people. They're
Gingers
great.
are great. Yeah, great.
So whenever you go in, you download the size you want, because they're the formatting will be weird, and it's going to get on your nerves. The formatting of it is the most annoying part, because then you run an online, like, okay, I want to see what it looks like. Make sure the words don't bleed over. It doesn't look stupid.
Yep.
Cause that's a hard part.
You got like half a sentence or one word on one page.
Yeah,
You're
you don't want
I
that.
gotta.
Or if it like bleeds over into the cover, you don't want it to be like page numbers. Like putting where the title of the chapter and the page number were correct was way more annoying to me than it should have been. Now, here's the cool thing, and I was gonna tell people this because I wish I'd have done this. If you don't, say you've already got it written and you don't want to do any of that formatting, there's a website called Fiverr, FIVRR.com. And it's where people offer like freelance services. I don't get paid. This is not a paid promotion. Fiverr, if you want to sponsor us, just make checks payable to Neil. Just say Neil on it.
For my book. Yeah.
For his new book, which you should write. And so go to Fiverr.com and just search like Kindle book formatting or, book formatting. Somebody will for like
pay them a fee.
$10, $20.
Yep. Yeah.
They'll format the whole thing for you for the printable book and for the Kindle version. That's what I did for mine because I had some photos. Each chapter had like a quote, but it was a photo, and I was like getting annoyed with trying to format it. Paid like $30. Somebody did it all for me.
So much better.
It saved me
the amount of time it would have taken you versus them.
On my children's book. So, Olivia did those photos and I put it in. It was a Kindle book, but I could not get it to where the printing didn't bleed over on the photos for the physical book. So for like 8 years of a children's book, I didn't have a physical book you could buy.
Wow.
And because I like pretty much every year and a half, I would try to do it, spend 6 hours,
frustrated.
couldn't figure it out, get aggravated and quit. And so I finally just paid a lady, like, I don't know, $20 or $30 on Fiverr. She formatted the whole thing. I submitted the document.
Oh my gosh.
It's available. Just do that. Write the book.
That's so much
pay
better.
20 or $30 for somebody to format it. Boom. Upload it. Upload a cover. You're good to go. You can make covers. If you're going to make a cover, if you're going to make your own cover, I recommend going to canva.com, CANVA.com.
Yes.
And then just make the cover there. If you know a friend who's an artist, whatever, I had my buddy Stephen Overturf. Check him out. He created the cover for mine. I traded him some bar stools for it.
Not Barstool Sports.
No.
Actual bar stools.
Bar stools for his apartment, which I think he probably sold because he moved. But yeah, he did it. He did an incredible job. And then, that's it. That's what I recommend. Once you do it, it goes live on Amazon immediately.
So it's not like a waiting.
No, it's like maybe a day or two, I think, for it to go live.
Oh my gosh.
And then after that, you put the link in your bio, whatever, which if you do link in bio, I recommend solo.to.
Yeah.
Man, I'm giving them all the links.
Yeah. This is really helpful.
And so you do all that, and then you just push people to your book. And that's it. I need to probably I haven't promoted my book in a while on my TikTok stuff. I need to do it. But if you want to know for sales, like my other books, I did like a blog tour because I was in that like humorous kind of Christian person blog sphere. And so what I would do is I'd do guest posts, and at the end they would promote my book.
Yeah.
Sold some. The teacher books have been better because like principals will go in and buy the book for like their building and then do book studies. And then I do a consistent ad on Amazon that I run every day, and it's geared around people that search certain terms. And so it pretty much pays for itself because like it runs the ad and then I sell the books. And so it kind of, it's a wash for a lot of times, but it's promoting me out there
sold. Yeah, and
so
you're
that
out
people
there.
can have me come in and speak at their school.
Man,
so, I don't know.
So that's the other thing too that you have is you're not you didn't write some book. You didn't write a fictional book about whatever, and then you're just going on a book reading tour or whatever. You're going and you're talking about what you wrote because you've put it into practice. You didn't just write some story about it.
And that's the thing with my book. Like I didn't get too worked up. One, because I'm used to making content that nobody reads or watches, but also like, you put all this time and effort in a book, and a lot of people get really deflated because you publish it and then you make 20 sales and they're all like your mom. You know what I mean? And that's fine. Mine were all my mother-in-law. My mom didn't even buy my other books. My mother-in-law bought them.
Come on.
And I told her it was a toilet book, so it's sitting next to her toilet in her house. And I was like, oh, thanks, Linda. She's the only person that pays attention to me. Thanks, Linda.
Thank you, Linda.
You're the best.
Appreciate that.
Amanda has not read any of my books except for my children's book. I don't even know if she's read that. I think she heard me read it. But anyway, she hasn't read any of my books.
Wow.
But she's like, I hear you talk all the time. I don't need to read it. I'm like, well, that's accurate.
I'm living with the book.
I'm living
That's
with
you.
it.
Yeah.
So I don't know what else. Oh, so the thing with my book is, and this is what I recommend to you when you're thinking about what you want to write about, think about what you're already doing and how this can be a supplemental piece to that. So whenever I go speak at a school and I do like a keynote, and I'm like, I'm talking about how to be a baller teacher, I can say, hey, by the way, I've got a book if you want to buy it for the people in attendance. Boom. They buy, 100, 200 books. Boom. They hand them out for free.
That's
now
so smart.
they have something to walk away with besides that. And so it's almost like, one, it adds legitimacy in my field, because if you're in education, they want you to have written a book.
Right.
If they want you to speak, whatever. But then 2, I can give them something like, I can come in and talk for an hour, but then I have an 18-part study you can do with your teachers over a semester or over a year to help
even
improve
better.
them. So it's like,
That's
I don't know.
even better.
I would recommend writing a book that correlates with what you already do.
Yes.
That can be a supplemental thing that, like, because that book, if I speak for, the next 10 years, it can still sell when I go speak at those schools.
Yeah.
Michael Hyatt, he wrote a book, and every time he writes a new book, his other books start selling because he'll like reference those in that book.
wow.
So it's like this trickle down effect
Yep.
to everything else.
It was something that I always love about certain books, like definitely nonfiction or education, whatever, is when there's a complimentary book that is like a study guide to walk other people through it.
Yep.
I love buying those combinations because I love reading a book, but I love reading a book together with other people, and then it's even better when you actually have a track that you're on. And to have somebody who actually wrote it create that is
Because
smart.
how many books have you read where it's like a month later, you're like, I don't remember one.
Oh my gosh.
Even though you liked it,
yeah.
it's like, I read like 2 of my books that are my every year reads are Atomic Habits, and then also Never Split the Difference. It's like a negotiating discussion book. And I literally will go to sleep with a headphone in listening to Never Split the Difference, but I still like can't memorize. Like I'm just now starting to memorize
It's
these.
a lot, man.
And then you have to incorporate them into your conversations, things like that.
It's all
So-
helpful. It's just overload when you're reading it, and then you
Yes.
don't retain some of that stuff.
Yeah, and so it's good if you have those companions. And that's what I, with my, like, I'm not telling you I wrote the perfect book. I mean, I did. obviously,
Yeah,
of
that's
course.
why we're here.
No, there's so
You
much I would
did.
change now.
You wrote the perfect book.
This
you
book
wrote
is like a 3 pieces of book. Stack them together. Make it 3.
3. How many books?
Triple
You got
decker.
four books.
Dan Shunpike.
Hey, can I tell you a surprise? Is this surprise time? Can I tell you this?
Sure.
Okay.
You wrote a
surprise
book.
time. No, you don't know. Well, I have a stack of books that I've read. These are all of my manuscripts.
I would love to read those.
No, I'm almost to the halfway point of recording your audiobook for the Baller Teacher Playbook.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't know what you're going to do with it. But yeah.
You're doing an audiobook.
Yeah, your audiobook. You're not going to sit down and do it. You need
What,
somebody
are
to
you
do it for
serious?
Yeah, why not? We already have all this stuff. This is stuff. But I mean, if you want to get it out there, it'll help. They don't want to hear me. They don't want to hear my voice. I can't do your accent when I'm reading it. But yeah. Yeah, it'll be done. It'll be done soon.
Neil,
We'll get it
that's
done.
the coolest thing ever.
Baller Teacher Playbook. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Audiobook.
And I'm doing it mostly
You're-
so that Amanda will listen to it.
She won't.
She won't, even if it's me doing it?
She's never even seen me do that keynote. I've been doing that keynote for 5 years now.
You're telling me I've seen it more than she has?
Yeah, you have. You came, I was like, hey, I'm going
I
out
did.
Springs, do this keynote. And you're
Okay,
like, all
let's
right, I'll be
go.
there in a minute. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, Amanda's never seen me do it, ever.
That's so funny.
And I've done,
I
she
did
was
not
supposed
know
to
that.
see me a couple times, but then something happened. She couldn't go. Mainly she didn't want to, but yeah. I make her
go, I
sound,
don't know
she's
why,
great.
but-
She's amazing, very supportive, but
It's the thing. Okay, I mean, I do the same things. When you're completely immersed in something and it's constantly going on at your house or whatever, it's not the thing that it's like actors and actresses have, directors, all that kind of stuff. They are not, even their own family members are not like in awe of it. Jerry Seinfeld just did a thing. He said he gets about 6, maybe 7 seconds of talking about himself at the house before his family tunes him completely out. It's like, yeah, I'm directing my first movie, but that's whatever. Hey, tell me about your day. He can't talk about it because they just don't. They're like, we get it. Tyler, you're incredibly intelligent. You wrote this book. I get it.
I hear it.
It's a
I
lot.
get it.
It's
I
too
received
much.
that.
Yeah.
My daughter, it's funny to me, like, now that I'm like coaching my kids sports and they're getting to the age of like where they're aware, like robots become self-aware. It's like children become self-aware of like the things going on around them and that there's like a whole internet world. And so it's like their classmates, like I went to Titus' basketball practice last night and there's like kids that are like talking to me about my shoes and they're like,
Yeah.
I heard you got like a lot of people on TikTok. I almost said Facebook, not that.
Oh,
You got a lot of people on TikTok and they're like talking to me about it. And Titus is like, oh, he don't care at all. He has no desire to know. Like, it's so funny to me, like with kids, like Ezra, like my daughter, she's hilarious. And she would be famous if I would edit her videos. She's recorded like 80 videos I haven't edited.
She has.
She really has. And she actually started editing on clips. Doesn't matter. And she goes, somebody at school said we were famous. I was like, what? She goes, yeah, because something about TikTok or Instagram or something.
No way.
And I said, and I go, what did you say? She goes, no, we're not. She
gotta
goes,
learn how to
or she'll be
promote
like, I
that.
farted and ran away or something like that. That's Ezra.
That's incredible.
She's hilarious.
Do we? Are we going to 3v3 this?
Sure, let's 3v3.
Is
Which
it time?
button? It's the third button, remember?
I do, because you taught me.
Welcome to the party, pal. This is 3v3.
It is 3v3.
You know, they say that everybody talks about it. Everybody's talking about it. Nobody's praying for it.
Every,
I don't know what that means. I don't know what
you
that
don't
means.
have to pray for it because it's here. It's happening right now. Why would you need to do it?
That, but right now.
Hey, what are the last 3 books you read, huh?
That's it. Why don't you go first,
What
since
are
I'm
the
still pulling
three?
up my list.
Do you want me to list all 3 right
No,
now?
give me one.
I'm gonna go one at a time.
Give me one. I'm not even doing an accent. I'm just talking
I'm
louder.
not even gonna go in
How many books have you read this year?
alphabetical order. Last year was way more. Actually, I'm trying to think how many. I was trying to be on a 2 book a month. I might be there. I'm more than that. Stamped by Ibram X. Kendi.
Oh, that's good.
A definitive history of racist ideas in America. Very eye-opening.
Yep.
I loved it.
It's good.
Sydney is the one. So there's another book. They redid it. It used to be called something else, and then they redid it. I read the first one, and then Sydney actually was reading it for. I think she might have been reading it for school. She is. She was reading it in college, and she told me about it, and so I ended up reading it, and it's great.
That's good. I actually read, I think it was like 10 books ago, I read Dr. Kendi's How to Be Anti-Racist. I had read Stamped last year, and then I read How to Be Anti-Racist.
Is that one different?
Yeah, I think he wrote it before this one.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. I loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
Great. Yeah,
It was really good.
Very, very informative.
Yep.
How about you? What do you got?
Okay. So the one I'm reading right now is called The Mr. Rogers Effect. And so
don't
it
know about
talks
this
through, well, I never heard of it. I was literally just searching Libby. By the way, guys, if you're not using Libby app for audiobooks, you should. It's
Really?
free audiobooks. It's like library.
No
You're
way.
literally renting them from the library. Because
Sydney uses that.
yeah, because Audible
That's
quit letting me
right.
return them because I would read the books and return them and then get
my
more. And they were like, yeah, you
gosh.
keep doing this stuff.
You go through them fast.
Yeah, bro. I drive, my man.
uh-huh.
That's why I have a Prius. I'm Italian Prius, man. Toyota from Italy.
It's a Prius.
It's a Prius. Yeah, I'm reading Mr. Rogers Effect. It talks through Mr. Rogers and how he like made people feel valuable and like how he let them, and people felt seen by him, even through a camera. And so it's like, I want people, when I walk away from a conversation, I want people to feel like I wasn't just like putting in time with them. I want them to feel valued and seen, and I just genuinely impact people. And that's something I'm working
he
on.
did that.
Yeah, I'm really, I have
Interesting.
certain areas I focus on, like communication, like connecting with people. That's one
Right.
big one. Leadership is another one. And then I've really, over the past, year and a half, I've started reading a lot more books on like, being anti-racist, social justice, stuff like that. That's something that's very important to me. And so those are my 3 areas that I kind of rotate, except for one that I'm going to talk about
I
later.
probably read more on racism, the history of slavery, all that sort of, in the past 2 years than I ever have.
Me too. Like it's like I would base it off of like different podcasts or things. And I was like, no, Tyler,
Yeah.
I need to hear people's experiences.
Yep.
I need to hear them like after they've like all this, I need a deeper dive. And I tallied it up. I'd read, cause I just want to show that I'm better.
Oh
Does this make me
gosh.
better? I've read like 13 books in the past year and a half on that topic, just because
Oh,
it's
wow.
like so. Like
Yeah.
I'm my youngest son is black, and so it's like I need to be better prepared than I am. It's not about like just I love him, whatever. It's like I need to be prepared for the conversations
Yes.
he's going to bring home,
Yep.
and how am I like I just got to be better. And so I'm trying to be
You're
as good as I
doing it.
can.
You're doing it.
Oh no, I'm not doing a good job yet. I'm trying
Trying.
to get ready. Okay, sorry.
I'm trying to nine.
I tried to die, live is living, get bleed down, Shawshank Redemption, to tax money.
That sounds like an auctioneer.
We went to an auction in Cabot last Saturday. Yeah.
And they talk like that?
Yeah, he was really funny. I went with my kid. I took my kids Took my kids.
Wow.
Yeah,
Good
whatever.
for them.
Who cares?
Good
Go.
for them.
I don't even like them kids.
Read a you're going to hate this book. It's called Blockchains by Stephen P. Williams.
Why would I hate that?
It's unbelievably intricate. So for some reason, when we did our cryptocurrency episode, not the NFTs, but cryptocurrency, I got off on this rabbit trail talking about blockchain, and because everything will be. So if with metaverse or meta and everything that is going in that direction, it will all be built off of blockchain. That's where everything's headed. I geeked out on it. I don't know why. I originally was going to school for computer tech. I couldn't handle computer science. It's too much math, but just programming language and all that kind of stuff to see how far it's come. It was it was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Biggest takeaway? That everything's going to be around it?
Everything will be built on blockchain because of it's unbreakable code, and it's not even worth it. If you hacked into a server right now, you get access to everything. I mean, Robinhood just went down 2 days ago, and because they had a massive security breach. Why? Because hackers, they didn't really have to spend that much time to get through these things. Every firewall you want to put up, they're going to get through it. You can encrypt it, but this is not like that. If you spent all your energy to work and get through one chain, it's not worth it because it's not connected to the other one. So you don't get all the information. You don't even get some of it. So
That's good.
Nerd out.
That's good. Okay.
How about you?
My turn.
Yes, sir.
I did Tears We Cannot Stop by Michael Eric Dyson.
I don't know
It's
this
a
one.
social justice one.
Really?
It's not social justice. It's about race, stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you like it?
Yeah, it was good. He did a good job. He does a lot of he goes on a lot of like TV channels and is like when they do
Where'd
panels
you hear
and stuff.
about him?
I just searched top books and
okay,
that because
okay.
I've read a lot of the ones people have recommended. So
Yep.
it's like I just
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You're down.
I just
now.
searched it and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, cool. And I've
Yeah.
been reading a lot of I try to read a lot of the books that are popular just because even if I'm like even
I
if
don't know
it's
what
a
it
book
is.
that I don't agree with or like, oh, I wouldn't choose that. But it's like I like to know what everybody's reading because that's the thing. If we get in our bubble, we're only going to think one thing. And I'm like, I need to hear other things. That way I can either one, if something sounds better than what I think, I want to change what I think.
Yeah.
Or B, I want to understand why certain people think that way. And so it's like, I'll just search top books. And this
I
was
want to
top-
know.
It was good.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah. That's smart.
What's your third one?
Infinite Game, Simon Sinek.
So good.
You had talked about it maybe 2 years ago,
Yeah.
year and a half ago or whatever, and I like him, so I just put it on the list and went through. It's just it makes me think about a lot.
It's so good, man.
Yeah, no, Simon Sinek he's got a great TikTok channel. Doesn't have very many followers on there.
Yeah.
Is
Is it clips or is it him actually talking?
It's him talking.
Good. He Simon Sinek and Malcolm Gladwell. I've read every single book they've done, and I will continue to read every book they've done.
Yeah.
I just love the way they communicate, and I will read every book they do.
Yeah,
I will not listen to Malcolm Gladwell's podcast, but it's great, I'm sure.
Why?
There's one podcast.
There's only one podcast for me.
Comedy Bang.
Is it this one?
Joe Rogan?
Oh my gosh!
Just kidding.
You
Just
said he was
kidding.
a flesh
I don't listen to Joe Rogan. I
colored-
was just kidding.
Flesh-colored bowling ball.
That's what I call him.
All right.
He's
third-
like a steroid snowman. Sorry.
Oh gosh. No,
Okay.
That's good. That's good.
And third, actually, so I love Harry Potter. J.K. Rowling wrote those
Yeah.
books.
Oh,
She wrote,
she did a new one, didn't she?
well, a new Harry Potter book.
No.
She's supposed to be working on one now.
That's what it was. That's what it was.
She also wrote a series under the pseudonym Robert Galbraith. And so at first, that nobody knew it was her. Then it came out. I don't know if she leaked it or if that it was an accident. But everybody found out it was J.K. Rowling. But Robert Galbraith, which is J.K. Rowling, wrote a series. It's like essentially like a detective crime series.
Okay.
And she read the first one's called The Cuckoo's Calling, and it follows a guy named Cormoran Strike. He was the illegitimate son of some famous rock star. Obviously it's not real. It's not like a true
okay.
story. And he went to army. He has like one leg. I'm just kind of hitting the bullet points.
Uh-huh.
And so it's about him solving cases and his
Really?
his assistant Robin or partner or whatever, Robin. And I read the first one, Cuckoo's Calling, several years ago, and it was good. It's like grown up Harry Potter, but
Yeah,
around
yeah,
a British
yeah.
one guy
That's
with
what
one
I was
leg.
going to say. Is it recognizable, the style of it?
It is. It's similar because the way she wrote Harry Potter was like this arc of the book where it's like there's a running like mystery that you're trying to figure out, and then when you hear here's the end of it, you're like, oh, now I can piece it together.
now it
It's almost like
makes
if on a
sense.
reread
Yeah.
I could see that. Except for the sixth book was a little different because it wasn't as clear. It was very murky in Harry Potter. We should explain Harry Potter. It's
We
like my
should.
favorite thing. I thought about it today, but I was like, I don't know.
Oh my
wants to.
gosh. I would love to.
So whenever you read it, it's got that similar feel to it. And she's mixed it up on how she's done the books. But I think I read that one 5 or 6, 7 years ago, and then I like completely forgot that it existed, I guess. And then about a month ago, I thought, oh, I wonder if she's written more. And apparently she's written 5 of them.
What?
So
She is like a machine.
She is, along with all the other stuff she does. And I read all 4 of those within, like I get on fiction kicks when I read too much like leadership, communication,
Yep, I have
social
to.
justice stuff. Like I have to
cleanse the
step
palate.
out. Yes.
Yep.
And I'll go out and read. And so I just read 3 or 4 of those. I was driving a lot. So I read 3 or 4 of those in a row. And so the Cormoran Strike series was really good. I like it.
One that I don't recommend is Ready Player 2.
Really?
Yeah.
I think Josh Rawls likes that for some reason. Why do I think Josh likes that?
He probably, there's no way. There's 0 chance.
Okay, maybe I made that
There's
up.
2 0 chances in this statement. 1, that he will listen to this. 2, that he will read that. Neither one of those.
That's true.
Yep.
That is true. Okay, Ready Player 2, you didn't like it.
No, don't do it. All right, do you want to Will It Rocket?
More than anything in the world.
Is it the green one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
It did it.
The question on everyone's mind, will it rock? The answer is probably yes.
The question on everybody's mind is, will Neil hit the right button? The answer, probably. All right. Has Dwayne The Rock Johnson, is he an author? Is he a published
writer?
author? Is he? Do you know if he is?
Is he an Arthur Conan Doyle? So stupid.
Or is he Arthur off of Arthur and Friends?
You can tell whenever I'm the one that I am the one. Whenever I'm the one that like not carries it, but like is the main, like, here's the information guy, because there's like, you don't hear me just completely derailing the conversation every 10 seconds. Neil, fact. Tyler, hello, mate. Oh, this is my Australian accent. Neil, patience. All right, facts. Tyler, mustache. Like, I'm so stupid.
Somebody yesterday was trying to describe to their wife what our podcast was.
Oh my gosh.
And they said, it's these 2 guys, they're trying to give you some helpful information, and then they rabbit trail. And it's a lot of rabbit trailing.
Hey,
It 100% is.
Alice in Wonderland
I'm
sold a
here for
lot
it.
of movies,
Seriously.
books.
Down the
Paul Carroll. What's his name?
Paul Carroll?
Arthur Paul Carroll,
Will
Conan
Ferrell.
Doyle.
I think it's Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell. Stranger Than Fiction, really.
Stranger Than Fiction. He does have a book. It's called The Rock Says.
Yeah.
I think it's a kid's book.
What's the % chance that he wrote it versus someone else wrote it and they stuck his name on it?
It is a book by Dwayne Johnson and Joseph Layden. It says The Rock.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Looper. The Rock Says, and it's about the most electrifying man in sports entertainment. It's I think it's like is it
LeBron James wrote it?
unapologetic? He's laying the smackdown with unapologetic honesty and inimitable style. The Rock tells his story from his boyhood days traveling around the world with his father, a professional wrestler.
That's so hot, bro.
That's incredible.
Would you read it? No.
No.
So it won't rock. Sorry, Rock. No, rock it like a ding dong.
It won't. And I think we both take The Rock in a foot race.
You think so?
100%. Do you know how
It's
much
a lot of
kinetic
weight.
energy needs to build up to get his butt to move?
So you're saying that we could beat him if it's a shorter race because we're going to get a quicker start, but if he gets going, that train will come. I hear the train a coming. It's what?
Rolling down
around the
the
bend. I'm so stupid.
All right, this is writing a book. How to write a book. Why you
Write a
should
book?
Write a book. Write.
Oh, because if you write a book, gas mileage is
This
great,
how
but it
to
doesn't go very
correct
fast.
a book. Write a book.
Write a book.
Tyler's written 4 books, and you should definitely go read them.
Neil wrote a book, Bike Beyond book documentary on YouTube. I guess I need to
That's
stop
where
talking.
books are.
Hey,
Well,
we should
all
do a
right.
TED Talk. Is that the culmination of this show? We do a real TED Talk?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that'd be incredible. And then at the end of it,
We could say bye and just not say thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk, y'all.
bye.
Thanks for listening to the Explain Everything podcast. You can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube at Explain Everything Podcast. We're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, but you're already here. We love you. No, actually, we're in love with you. Thanks for coming on our TED Talk. Bye.